data. Let's say I have the three XML files. You can see each have the employee ID and employee name and the corresponding address type. This is office address type, corresponding address value, and the second address type. See, the address type is repeated, so means it will suitable for the pivoting of the data. So let's say this is the XML file, and let's say this is my target. This is already I have loaded. Let's say this is employee ID, employee name, office address, and home address, email address, and mobile number. I want to load the data like this. Corresponding office address will be there, corresponding home address will be here, corresponding email address will be here, and corresponding mobile number should be here. So if you want to load this data, then how we'll do? We'll import as a source, and we can use some aggregator or normalizer transformation to expression transformation to load the data, to pivoting the data. But in XML we have the option to define the pivoting in the XML definition itself. Now let's see. This is the my first XML. Now you can see the second XML, another employee ID Prasad, corresponding addresses, and you can see the third file Nikhil. We have the different address types. I have the XSD definition for these XML files. This is the XSD definition. You can see employee ID, employee name, and corresponding address type and address value. Let me import this definition as a source. Import XML definition, select ADM addresses, click on next, and click on hierarchical relations and finish. Now save it and double click on the XML and just remove these, because see, address value and address type is the what is the parent is the employee name, means it's a one-to-many relationships. So we don't need this actually, so you can remove these views directly, delete it. You can press delete button, it will delete, and save it, and go to the this is the root element, and go to the show navigator path. Here select the advanced mode, make sure select the advanced mode, add address value, because address type is not required to load the XML. Fine, you can add address type 1, 2, 3 times, 4th times, because 4 times it's repeating 4 times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. For this element, particular element, it's repeating 4 times. Now an address value as well, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see address type of 1, address type of 2, address type of 3, address value of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's created 4 elements. Each array it will store each like array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now save it, but apply the changes and validate the XML definition. So validation completed. Now go to the designer, save it. Now import that to the pivot. I created one mapping XML pivot columns. Import this XML definition. You can see our columns are created here. And let me import this target as well, ADM address, employee address, XML. I think already there. Apply XML. So employee ID, and employee name, and address value required. Address type is not required. First tag is the representing the office address, next one is the home address, and next tag will represent the email address, next tag will represent the mobile number. Arrange all icon, save it. Now go to the workflow, it is already created. Refresh mapping, save it. Now you can see this is indirect file, indirect, okay, save it and take this target directory because these files are available in our target path, this path, okay, sorry, and you can see the file list file is already available. It will have the three files, address 1, address 2, address 3, because we are loading the indirect file loading. F2, Control C, Control V, okay, mapping, target is ADM employee address, the Mango connection account, and truncate and load. Truncate the option, I want to truncate the data. Workflow, start workflow. Now you can see succeeded. Now see the get session properties. See three records are loaded, no rejected rows. Now I can go to the target again once, executed once again. You can see data it will loaded like this. We can create a multi-group level pivoting as well, because this employee address and employee is responsible for the employee name and employee ID, means one to many. Let's say if you have one more view, it will have one more relationship, then you can create one more pivot elements, one more create view, and you can create pivoting elements on the group by base. You can create your pivot elements dynamically, statically. Means let's say you have the address type 4 columns, so that's why I created 4. Let's say I have only 3 columns, then you can create 3 times. So this is the pivoting option in Informatica when you are working with the XML sources. So it will give only, it will applicable for the XML sources, not applicable for the XML targets. Okay, this one is, next one is the XML parser and midstream XML parsers. Okay, so we'll see the XML parser. First of all, we'll see how the data is coming. So let's say I have XML file. This is my XML file. I have one file. In this file you can see all the XML tags will be there. Book name, book author. This one is I have loaded already earlier mapping. See header and header name and created timestamp and the country name, book. Each XML, India is one file. You can see India is Italy is one file, one XML file in one row, and same for the India is one XML row, and the second one is the this one is the Italy is the one XML row. This is the file. It will store have the 3 rows. Complete XML file. Now save it. File.xml. This is file.xml. Now go to the mapping. I imported this XML file with precision as a 64,000 characters. This is like a flat file only. Now I created a XML parser transformation. When you creating the XML parser transformation, let me delete this one. Okay, you can understand better. So create XML parser. Create, and it will ask for the XSD definition. You can see the create because we are loading the book files, right? So that's why books XSD. Normalized hierarchy, hierarchy relationships normalized. Okay, done. See, so when XML parser is created, see, it will give the data input row. What is the data we are we are taking input, and what are the XSD we have to validate. So this XSD we have to validate with the source data. Simple. If not matching, we have to load to the error file. If matching, we have to load to the particular target, XML target. I have created one XML target. You can say an XML target table in Oracle. See, it will have the item code, book name, net price, amount, file name, create. I have to load the XML file to the Oracle, and I have to load the corrupted records. Let's say XML corrupted records to the error file. Now map this file column to the data input, and go to the XML parser transformation, and go to the mesh stream XML parser transformation, and you can click on this option, route invalid payload through the data flow, apply. Okay, now you can see the one more group is added, that is error output group. Okay, now connected to the this, I have to join first. I have to join these sections to get the actual data, right? First join these data, SPK book routes, file name, create timestamp, country, number of books, total amount. This one, join this, and when is X book category, FK book. FK book. Number general transformation, that is book details, FK book details, item code, book name, author, net price amount. One more joiner transformation to get the book details section. This section is added, and this section is added. You can go to the condition, FK book category is equal to FK book category. You can see this condition, FK book root is equal to FK book root. Okay, now created the, now loading to the XML target. See, I mapped it to the joiner transformation to the what are the columns we want, we can add. And I created one more one error file. You can see this error file here, so I can create it manually, this error file. In this error file, what happened, so it will have the, you can create in Informatica this error file. It will have the two columns. One is invalid payload file, and error status. Okay, and it will be have the 64,000 to 64,000 you can create. So now map this invalid file load and corresponding error status here. Arrange all icon, save it. You can see it will get the valid. Now go to the workflow, take this XML parser transformation and refresh. Save it. Go to the mapping, go to the source. See desktop admuser XML file, that is, this is already there. XML file is available here, already there, this path. and target Mongo connection, its truncate and load is option selected, and XML file desktop admuser XML file dot txt. Same desktop folder I am loading admuser. Save it. Now go to the admuser desktop folder and delete this file because this file is generated by Informatica. So okay, now run this workflow. Start workflow. You can see it succeeded. You can see the get rows, so no rejected rows, so it will load to the XML error file 3 records, and the target file we have the 20 records. Now go to the select this target. You can see all the 20 books are loaded here, and you can see this error file. There is no error because all are succeeded. All our XML files are valid. Now take this XML file, remove any tag here. Now xroot I am removing. For which country? India. For India country I am removing one tag. Actually it's invalid XML. We don't know, right? So let me load once again. Let them run the workflow once again. Start workflow. Now it's succeeded. Oh, it's not saved, it seems. User. Saved. It's saved. Okay, fine. Now it's succeeded. Now you can see only Italy and USA. Where is India? India file is it's not there because it's a wrong XML file. Now go to this XML error file. Now you can see this file is generated. What is the corrupted XML is loaded in this file here. So this is the use of XML parser transformation and XML midstream XML parser transformation. Now execution fixes. So let's say when you are first generated this XML file, we are loading the XML from source to Oracle to XML file with using of these sorter transformation and sorter again, 2 more sorters, because we are using 4 sorters or aggregators to load the XML data, because each section we have to load independently. So rather than as well my source is Oracle, so if it is flat file then it is fine. We don't have any option to sort the data, only we have to use the sorter transformation. If you has the RDBMS, directly using these sorter and header generation and trailer generation in the SQL query itself by using union or union all statements. You can generate one header, then union all you can create intermediate section, then again union all you can create a trailer section like that. It will give better performance rather than using the sorters in Informatica. And one more is, so use XML path XPath queries always. If we had if your requirement is suitable for XPath queries, use XPath queries always, because XPath queries you don't, if you are using the XPath queries, you don't need to use these aggregator and sorter transformation. You can directly do your queries in the XPath query itself. So rather than using aggregate transformations in the in Informatica. And make sure the XSD definition, let me open the XSD definition. make sure like XSD definition should be minimum length and maximum length of the columns. Let's say minimum length is equal to 1 and maximum length is equal to 250. Make sure this should be derived, or else what happen, every time when you are synchronizing the XML target definition, it will create 250. It will always create 250 or maximum length 255 if you are not defining like this. Okay, let me give the example. Let's say I have the ADM addresses. Now you can see maximum length is equal to 20, right? So this is the restriction. Base is equal to maximum length is equal to 20. So that's why I am giving as the let's say take the example of the employee name. Employee name maximum length is I am giving 13. If you are not giving this tag, okay, let's say you are not giving this, let's say delete this, cut this tag and save it. Now go to the Informatica, go to the sources. This is the ADM employees, right? Let synchronizing XML definition. You can see ADM addresses. You can see reply. Synchronizing. Save it. You can see 30, 300 is there, minimum length. If one column is fine, we can change it. What happen if you have 200 columns, 300 columns? Okay, 30. Okay, let's keep it as it is. Control S, and you can synchronize the XML definition already, because already available, they are created. So don't want to touch this. ADM addresses, create it. Not created. Control S, save it. Okay, this is already synchronized. Okay, fine. I will tell you. Sources, input XML definition, ADM addresses, create hierarchy relationships, ADM addresses, you can say 1. Okay, you can see ADM employee name is created with only 13 characters. See here, 13 characters and 20 characters. So make sure you should specify the maximum length of the XSD elements. And how to add a new section, and how to remove views, and how to create views, and how to add a new sections. Now you can see, let's say these are the employee name, this is the one section, so they are created, right? Let me create one more section. Address sequence. I have created one more address sequence value, or address type value, address correct, address sequence, sequence value, address sequence value, and these address sequence value in this address sequence section. You can copy any address value here. address sequence means you created one more section, right? So you created one more section that in the address section. Now go to the Informatica, synchronizing XML definition, ADM employee address, synchronizing. See, the section is not came here. So because we are synchronizing the XML destination, but it's not came here. So let's open this XSD definition. See, address sequence is already there, but it's not came. So you can be able to see sorted by hierarchy. Now you can see able to see address sequence. Now go to the select this section and show XPath navigator. See address sequence. Now create one more view, your own view, to include this element. Create view and just drag and drop these elements. This is not the correct path actually. See employee name and employee address only, but the actual path is IDM address, employee name and employee address. So you are drag and drop in the wrong conditions. So now delete one more once again and create one more view. Where is this one? Yeah, this one. Now so that's why always select the root elements is employee name. Employee name is the root element. Now select XPath navigator. Now root element is ADM addresses. Now go to the XPath navigator. You can see address sequence. Select this, all these things. Just drag. Create view, select this XPath navigator and address sequence and add this address sequence. Yeah, so based on the hierarchy only it will no allow this one. So first select the root element and then what are the section you can just drag and drop to this view. Now this view address sequence is created. Now make sure this has a created, I mean let's say create a primary key, and then primary key is created and then create a relation with the employee name. Now this is perfect now. Okay, apply changes, validate XML definition, validation successfully. Now you can see the address sequence is added here. Same for the columns as well. You can drop and drag to the particular view to create as per the XSD. Thank you.